On November 21st, Russian President Vladimir Putin addressed the nation. He stated that on November 19th, 6 ATACMS missiles struck Russian territory, and on November 21st, Storm Shadow and HIMARS systems were used. Putin announced that, in response, Russia launched its latest medium-range ballistic missile, the Oreshnik, targeting facilities in Ukraine. Additionally, the president outlined the conditions for deploying medium and short-range missiles in the conflict in Ukraine. According to him, this would occur if the West undertakes similar actions. As per Putin, the Russian Oreshnik missile has a speed capability of Mach 10 and is effectively impossible to intercept. First, let us listen to the entire speech of Putin.
I want to inform the personnel of the armed forces of the Russian Federation, the citizens of our country, our friends around the world, as well as those who continue to harbor illusions about the possibility of inflicting a strategic defeat on Russia. The father of the events that are taking place today in the zone of a special military operation, namely after the use of Western-made long-range weapons on our territory. Continuing the course of escalating the conflict provoked by the West in Ukraine, the United States and its NATO allies earlier announced that they are giving permission to use their long-range precision weapon systems on the territory of the Russian Federation. Experts are well aware, and the Russian side has repeatedly emphasized, that it is impossible to use such weapons without the direct participation of military specialists from countries that produce such weapons. On November 19th, 6 tactical Ataka missiles made in the US, and on November 24th, a combined missile attack included Storm Shadow systems from Britain and HIMS from SHA. Attacks were carried out on military targets on the territory of the Russian Federation, in the Bryansk and Kursk regions. Since then, as we have repeatedly stressed, the Western-provoked regional conflict in Ukraine has acquired elements of a global nature. Our air defense system reflected. As a result, the goals that were obviously set by the enemy were not achieved. A fire that broke out at an ammunition depot in the Bryansk region from falling debris. Rocket attacks eliminated casualties and no serious damage. Kursk region. The attack was committed on one of the command posts of our North Group. As a result of the attack and air combat, there are, unfortunately, casualties among the personnel of the external security units of the facility and maintenance personnel. The command and operational staff of the control center were not affected and are operating normally, directing the actions of our troops to destroy and expel enemy units from the Eskusa region. Once again, I want to emphasize that the use of such weapons by the enemy is not able to influence the course of hostilities in the zone of a special military operation. Our troops are successfully advancing along the entire line of combat contact. We will solve all the tasks we've set for ourselves. In response to the use of American and British long-range weapons on November 21st of this year, the Russian armed forces launched a combined strike on one of the objects of the defense industrial complex of Ukraine. In combat conditions, tests of one of the latest Russian medium-range missile systems were conducted. In this case, with a ballistic missile without nuclear hypersonic equipment. Our erotic called her crazy. The tests were successful. On the territory of Ukraine, in the city of Dnepropetrovsk, one of the largest and known industrial complexes since the times of the Soviet Union, which still produce missile technology today, was hit. Other weapons. We are developing intermediate and shorter range missiles in response to US plans to produce and deploy intermediate and shorter range missiles in Europe and the Asia-Pacific region. We believe that the United States made a mistake by unilaterally destroying it. 1019, under the far-fetched pretext of the Treaty on the Elimination of Intermediate-Range Missiles. Today, the United States not only produces such equipment, but as we see, they include activities to train its troops, worked out issues, transfers to different regions of the world, including Europe, its promising missile systems. Moreover, during the exercises, they conduct training in their application. Russia has voluntarily and unilaterally committed not to deploy intermediate and shorter-range missiles until American weapons of this kind appear in any region of the world. I repeat, tests in combat conditions of the Oreshnik missile system. We are conducting them in response to the aggressive actions of NATO countries against Russia. The question of further deployment of medium and shorter range missiles will be decided by us depending on the actions of the United States and its satellites. Further tests of our latest missile systems will be determined by us based on threats to the security of the Russian Federation. We consider ourselves entitled to use our weapons against the military facilities of those countries. Who permits them to utilize their weapons against ours? Moreover, should aggressive actions escalate, we will respond decisively and mirrored. I recommend that the ruling elites of those countries that harbor plans to use their military contingents against Russia seriously think about this. Naturally, if necessary, by choosing them as retaliatory measures, we will designate a target for destruction using systems like Oreshnik on Ukrainian territory in advance to civilians, as well as inform citizens of friendly nations there. Evacuate the danger zones. We will undertake this for humanitarian reasons. Openly, publicly, without fear of opposition from the enemy. Also receiving this information. Why without fear? Because there are no means to counter such weapons today. The missiles attack targets at a speed of Mach 10 is 2 from Aero 230 kilometers per second. Modern air defense system available in the world. Additionally, the American missile defense system for Europe. Such missiles are absolutely not intercepted. It is unequivocally excluded. It has been emphasized multiple times that it is not Russia, but rather the United States. Destroyed the international security system. And by continuing to fight, clinging to their hegemony, they push the whole world into a global conflict. We have always preferred and are now ready to resolve all disputes by peaceful means. But we are also ready for any development. Is there anyone else who still harbors doubts about this? There will always be an answer, albeit one often in vain.
Earlier, Brazilian political analyst Giovanna Branco stated that using the Oreshnik missiles served as a warning to NATO. According to her, Moscow urged the alliance to avoid further escalation of the Ukrainian conflict. These are not intercontinental missiles, but medium-range missiles. The most important feature is their speed, which reaches Mach 10, or 3 kilometers per second. The range can vary depending on the payload. It features a high-power warhead with multiple reentry vehicles, as we saw in Ukraine. This was the missile's first combat test, and it was successful. The range can reach several thousand kilometers. Intercepting these missiles is extremely challenging. They are essentially invulnerable to any current missile or air defense systems. I believe this will remain the case for the coming years. Now, do you think this changes the equation of power in Europe? Let us know in the comments. Please like and share our videos and subscribe to our channel. Please also take membership in our channel to encourage us.